Welcome back to the Qlik MCP Cordon Green Culinary School of Agenic Awesomeness. This is Chef Qlik Dork, and I hope that you are well rested and caffeinated up out there, all you little sous chefs. Unlike other courses where I say that as merely a cute introduction, this time I seriously mean it. Our topic today is Metacognitive Analytics, and you are going to need your thinking caps on. As always, no microwaves here. We'll be putting our hearts, and in today's case, our brains, into this dish. Metacognition is an awareness of one's own thought processes and an understanding of the patterns behind them. Feel free to pause the screen and read the whole definition here from Wikipedia if you want. I'm not going to bore you with it. I just wanted you to know that this recipe isn't just something that Chef Qlik Dork came up with in a dream or anything like that. As you can see, Wikipedia even notes that the writings on this go all the way back to Aristotle. How cool is that? The original thinker thought so much that he actually wrote about thinking about thinking. That's crazy cool, right? Metacognition essentially means thinking about thinking, as I just said. It's the awareness and understanding of your own thought processes. Well, metacognitive analytics is an awareness and understanding of your analytical thought processes. Here's the difference in the scale if there were one to recognize low and high. With a low metacognition ability, someone might say, I don't know the answer. They're just aware that there's a gap between what they thought and what reality is. With high metacognition, you might say, I don't know the answer, but I understand why there's a gap. In the AI era, metacognition is the difference between blaming the tool and understanding the problem. I'm going to go way out on a limb and say this. Sous chefs, you either get it or you will get left behind because AI isn't going away. Let me try and illustrate this from an experience with a friend a while ago. No, I'm not old enough to know Aristotle personally. I'm just using the image because, frankly, I had it handy. We'll just make up a name. We're going to call it my friend Dan. Well, Dan used an AI chatbot one day and said something like, hey, AI, give me a summary about something. And I'm just using something because I really don't remember what the question was. Well, AI responded with a great something about whatever that something was. So Dan followed up, hey, that's fantastic. I love it. Great summary. Hey, can you give me more details about my last question? To which the AI chatbot friendly responded, it'd be impossible for me to do that. Well, this random friend that I just happened to call Dan was livid with the chatbot. And I'm not going to lie, they weren't much happier when they called me. We got on a Zoom session, we walked through it, and I said, I hate to tell you this, random friend Dan, AI is totally correct. There's no way it could answer that. This is a metacognitive failure here. They assumed their expectation was grounded in truth, that AI should absolutely be able to list the details that were behind their last question. High metacognition would have said, hey, what's the nuance or the context behind what I'm missing? Did I say what I meant? What Dan meant was, can you give me more details about the summary you gave me? But no way that AI could give my friend details about his last question. It has no view into his brain to know why he asked the question, what drove him to ask the question, how long he'd been thinking about the question. Like, seriously, how is AI going to give you details about your question? We all go through this with each other in conversation. Some of us do it daily. Oh, I know what I said, but that's not really what I meant. And we bear with one another. Well, sous chefs, always remember these are large language models. The words you use matter. If you understand that all of the human beings around you who talk to you daily can't interpret what you meant from what you said, please understand that AI can't do that either. I apologize. I'm asking you to consider something new, something that's really hard. And I used, well, that was really a vague, random example. So let me try again with something more visual, something that you probably do on a daily basis. Well, I recently asked an AI model through a chat session on my screen, which division leads in sales? This might seem weird, but I'm going to be silent and I'm going to give you a few seconds to try to answer that question. Well, here was AI's response. Pale ale leads with 173 million. I was livid. Clearly, AI was wrong. Look, I'm the chef Qlik Dork. I am data literate. I can read a bar chart, for crying out loud. The number is right in front of me, you stupid bag of bolts. What a waste of a gajillion megawatts of electricity. No wonder my friend Dan was so livid. What would your thoughts have been if you had found this similar situation? Well, if you were thinking the same thing I was, I challenged you. I literally challenged you in course 220, called Context Wars, not to think that way. It's almost like I was literally leading you by the hand for this very situation with the words that I use so that you wouldn't fall for this trap. Notice that one of these things was, without governance, metadata might infer sales could reasonably mean billings or net profit or gross margin or quantity sold. You see, low metacognition thinks AI is wrong. The number is right in front of me. With high metacognition, we would be thinking, what is the context or nuance that AI is seeing that I might be missing? I'm not going to lie to you. In this case, the semantics that this AI model used, and I'll be honest, it was an older model that I just happened to bring up again recently, told it that billings was about payments that we owed. Does that make sense? What we had been billed for. In my application, that is not what it meant. I happened to call it billings, and it was really sales. It thought that net profit was the only field that was closest to the relationship word-wise, semantically, to sales. My vision was focused on what I was seeing on the screen. Its vision sees the entire data model out there. Here's the fundamental problem, and this applies whether you're using Claude, Qlik Answers, or any AI-powered analytics tool. You have a perceptual window, and you need to recognize that. You're looking at bar charts on the screen, maybe a table. Your brain can process maybe one dimension and measure at a time. You're reading one paragraph in a very complicated book. The reason so many people love Qlik to begin with is the ability for the charts to be responsive so quickly to their selections. That's the only way their brain can process the relationships between dimensions and measures. It allows you to see things at the speed of thoughts. But AI has a global view. It sees the entire data model, every dimension, every measure, every relationship. It's reading the whole book simultaneously. Talk about speed reading. When you ask a question of it, you're asking from your limited context. But AI is giving you an answer back from its global context. With a high metacognitive analytics ability, it's going to be about recognizing that your perceptual window is narrower than what AI sees, and that you need to account for that. So here's what I want you to do. Next time AI gives you an answer that's surprising you, ask yourself 3 metacognitive questions. What does AI see that I'm missing? How could my question be interpreted differently than what I actually said? Again, remember, these are large, language models. Your word choice is important. Finally, I want you to ask yourself, what assumptions am I making about what I think is obvious? From a traditional graphicacy or data literacy standpoint, we might ask, can you read a bar chart? Do you understand what a filter does? With metacognitive analytics, part of an AI literacy field, instead you would be thinking, can you recognize when your perceptual window is narrower than AI's global view? Can you question your own assumptions before blaming the tool for being wrong? This is the skill, absolutely, that separates people who say AI doesn't work in analytics from the people who say that AI transformed how we work with data. I want to make this clear. Metacognitive analytics is not about AI being smarter than you, friends. It's about you being more aware of your own thinking, while also being aware of the limitations of AI to know what you are thinking. Suchez, please don't be afraid that AI is going to do away with your humanity. If you only take away one thing from this course, I want it to be this, so pay attention. AI is forcing us to actually become more human, to get back to our roots of thinking. Now, that's exactly why I start each of these Cordon Green courses with the phrase agenic awesomeness.